Hey everybody, it's me, Miss G. I wanted to talk a little bit about Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. This is part 2. This is what you will be analyzing today. I'm just going to go quickly through my annotations and just show you what I, thought of when I was reading it. Keep in mind, I know it's very hard to annotate on the computer, but we still need to do the best we can. Some of our annotations aren't, as great as they can be. And I want us to make sure that we know annotating is important. It's a really great skill to have, especially for college. Okay, so I'm just going to go through quickly all my little notes and yeah, cool. All right, so my first highlight is here. I am generally called a feminist when I have the nerve to suggest that the misogyny deeply embedded in our culture is a real problem requiring relentless vigilance. So here she's defining the issues of what the feminist label comes with, right? She's not full on saying feminist is blah blah blah, which of course some of us do. But this is her way of describing the feminist label, kind of showing without telling us. I have another highlight here, but I couldn't help but note one commenter who told me I was an angry blogger woman, which is simply another way of saying angry feminist. All feminists are angry instead of passionate. So this is a good piece of evidence, right? Because it shows us the everyday comments she gets. But if one of you post this, I would actually take points off because she didn't put a citation here. I wrote, show me the receipts. Obviously, she's like a famous essayist, a very talented, great writer, with her own blog and all that stuff. But for our sake, I would definitely want you to include the evidence, even just put the name of the user and like what website it was from, something in that aspect, right? There's another one. A more direct reprimand came from a man I was dating during a heated discussion that wasn't quite an argument. He said, "Don't raise your voice at me," which was strange because I had not raised my voice. So a lot of you have been asking me about real life events. You are more than welcome to include real life events within your essays, but they need to be, you need to be careful with them. I would say limit it to one, and I wouldn't, go too in depth with emotion. And this is actually what I wrote here. For this entire paragraph, she really doesn't go into emotion. She doesn't say, oh, this made me feel this way, this made me feel that way. She's just telling us what happened. And obviously, just from reading it and going over the events of what happened, you, the reader, interpret it in your own way. And, we all interpret it as bad, right? So that's an important thing with essay writing, right? We're not going too depth with emotion. Here's another one. I'm not the only outspoken woman who shies away from the feminist label, who fears the consequences of accepting the label. I might have gone too in depth with this. Do you see this line is all by itself? And this line is basically saying, as a feminist, you get consequences by saying you're a feminist. Sometimes you may not be able to do certain things, or you may lose friends. So you can kind of see a little parallelism here. She made this line by herself. It builds suspense. It builds that emphasis on what that feminism label can do to us. Okay, so there's one aspect I really wanted to point out. It's in an August 2012 interview with Salon's Andrew O'Hare, actress Melissa Leo, known for playing groundbreaking female roles. So she obviously cited her evidence this one. She's saying when it was, where it was, who it was with. And she says, known for playing groundbreaking female roles. That's a cool little inclusion she adds there. If you guys are citing evidence from, a known doctor, like let's say you're writing about coronavirus, and you take a line from Dr. Fauci, who is like a head of I don't know if he's head of like the CDC, whatever. He's an important guy. So you can say, according to Dr. Fauci, world leading scientist in coronavirus or whatever he is, that's a little detail that you are more than welcome to add. That's a pretty good thing. That shows your reader that you know what you're writing about, who you're talking about, where you're getting your evidence from. All right. As soon as we start labeling and characterizing ourselves and others, that's going to shut down the world. So that's what the actress said. And here, this is where she explains her quote. This is her analysis, right? We can't forget about analyzing and explaining. She goes she explains it, and then she goes in depth with it. She's explaining why it's important, what it means to her, how it connects to feminism, right? So don't forget your analysis, guys. All right. Here we see gender, race, size, hair color, eye color. Listing is also a great tool to use, but you don't want to do this too many times because your reader might get sick of it. But if you ever run out of ideas, try listing. It might work, it might not. The worst that can happen is you delete it, right? So here she has another interview of another side of feminism, and she's not saying it's wrong. She's not saying she agrees or disagrees. This would probably be, in my eyes, would be an analytical essay, but she is identifying all sides of it. I did write, is she saying a counterclaim? Maybe this is. At first, I thought it was just identifying all sides, but then I thought, maybe it is a counterclaim, because on the back, she says, again, we see this fear of characterization, this fear of being forced into a box that cannot quite accommodate a woman properly. I said maybe that's her rebuttal. It could be, this isn't really an argumentative essay, so I could be wrong. But, she explains all sides of feminism, and that is what an essay does, right? It gives us all the information. It gives us, all sides. All right. I really loved this part because she had, a really awesome woman, Marissa Mayer, who was appointed president and CEO of Yahoo. And that's strong evidence. That's a strong female figure. And, what I like about her is she had a lot of different women in this essay. And this is just part of it. So just in, 1.5 pages, we have an actress, we have an artist, and we have a CEO. So that's, that's awesome. But, obviously Roxanne is a professional essayist. She is a wonderful essayist, so we can't really compare ourselves to her. And the last thing I wanted to point out was she preferred to eschew the label for the sake of so-called positive energy. All right, bringing it back to her entire point about labeling, right? This woman, when you read it, you'll see she's saying that she doesn't think of herself as a feminist. Again, giving us that other version of feminism that she was doing here. But even though that woman doesn't identify with being a feminist, Gay still is able to bring it back to her claim, back to that labeling part, right? And we always want to make sure that we don't stray too far off with our writing before we go back to our made claim. All right, so I hope these annotations helped. These are just little, my thoughts. Please don't copy them. Okay? All right, guys, bye.